Good afternoon. We're at the North Carolina 2024 State Fair. What's your name, sir?
Hi, my name is Ed Eldred.
Ed, you're running for office. Which office are you running for?
I'm running for seat 14 on the North Carolina Court of Appeals.
And you were just explaining to me how important the Court of Appeals is. Can you let us know, as an audience for Oak City ShoutOut, what the Court of Appeals does?
Sure. The Court of Appeals reviews legal errors that are made by judges in a trial court. If you appeal a case, most likely it'll go to the Court of Appeals and it will stop right there. It won't go any farther. So if the judge has a bad day, for example, and gives you a bad sentence, and you want to appeal, it'll go to the Court of Appeals, and it might go back, it might stay there. It's an error-correcting court.
That's very significant. Usually we don't think about that in terms of what we do on the local level is so important in terms of the electoral process. You were just explaining to me something extremely significant that impacted college students in the state. Can you explain that to our Oak City ShoutOut audience?
Sure. For years, UNC Chapel Hill issued students a plastic physical photo ID card. And this year they changed it. They made a digital ID. They put it on the students' phones because a lot of students have phones, obviously. The Board of Elections looked at the digital ID and said that would be fine to have a picture ID to vote. You have to have a picture ID to vote. Board of Elections said the digital one is fine. The Republicans appealed it. It went to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals threw it out. And they said, no, you got to have a physical card.
Wow. Is that typical in all the states in terms of having to have the physical?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to that.
Okay. Is this the first time you're running for office?
First time running for office.
Okay. What compelled you to do it? I know we need great people and people with a lot of tenacity and a lot of patience these days, but what compelled you to run for office this time?
Well, a triggering event. My wife and I over here, we have a daughter. She's 21, and her rights, she has fewer rights than her mother had when she was growing up. And I wasn't going to stand around and watch my daughter's rights keep getting taken away. It was stand up or shut up, and I stood up.
Well, that's really fantastic. I'm also one of the opinion where I would like to appeal that we've left men out of the equation in terms of everything when it comes to privacy or abortion or the next generation. And if we actually had men in the equation, young men especially, rites of passage, there would be more shared responsibility and probably less political input today. What do you think about stuff like that?
Oh, I agree entirely. I agree 100%.
Well, good luck with the Court of Appeals. And I think really, that particular issue should be a larger appeal. And please bring it up, because I think we need to draft responsibility equally, privacy equally, and the future in terms of men and women actually dealing with progeny differently. Oak City ShoutOut, and it's a pleasure. Thank you. What's your name again?
My name's Ed Eldred. Let me put in a plug for my co-candidates, Allison Riggs, Carolyn Thompson, Martin Moore, and I'm Ed Eldred.
How do you spell your last name?
Eldred.
Take great care.
Thank you
God
very
bless
much.
you.